I thought it was just my own people preying on my own people. I thought it was the weak trying to portray a strength on the weaker or on the weakest. And I developed an animosity in my heart for it. And I told my mom when I was younger, my jefita had me when she was 14. And she always told, when she had me when she was 15, my dad was 14. And from a very early age, she kept telling me, I don't want you to live that life, son. I don't want you to be in that element, son. I don't want you to be around those people. I don't want you talking like that. I don't want you dressing like that. I don't want you acting like that. I don't want you thinking like that. So me seeing these things, and then on top of my mom trying to reinforce some positive growth in me, I developed hate for it. But I soon found myself disenfranchised with society. I found myself disconnected with the education system especially. I found that everything was given to me in a black and white point of view, in a Eurocentric point of view, in an English or a Spanish point of view. I learned about everybody's cultures except mine. And whenever I was given my culture, it was just a quick snippet, and it was given to me like it was somebody else. Somebody from a distant past that's unrelated to me. Somebody that I can't really connect with or understand fully. I didn't learn about Eme Tunuyuka or Corky Gonzalez or Miguel Derineja, or I didn't learn about Jose Angel Guiterres, the last surviving member of the Chicanismo movement. I didn't learn about these people. And I just found myself feeling more and more disconnected as time went by. And as my mom fell into her traps, I was on my own. And I've seen it happen over and over, thousands of times with different people being in the same situation as me. Mom gone off dope, dad locked up, or vice versa. So what do I have around me? What resources do I have to help me? Who do I have to help protect me? Who do I have to help teach me how to be a man or how to love or how to respect myself? All I had was the homeboys in my hood. The homeboys who told me, look, man, we know you don't want to live like this, but we got you if you need something. We know you're scared, we know you're alone, and we know that your uncle said you can't be around us, but when you want anything, reach out to us. They became my family. They became something that I loved and cherished. But at the same time, I knew deep down in my heart, it was based on a flawed ideology. I know that love couldn't have been based on hate for other people. And then as that hate got deeper, and as I started trying to understand things why, and I started going back into the history of the problem, I began to realize more and more it's not these people I hate. It's my hate for myself that I'm self-projecting on people who look like me. So whenever I continue to get disconnected and I'm confused, I don't know what's going on, I'm 11 years old, boom, first felony. I'm riding a stolen vehicle, north side, my best friend, a couple other two homeboys, just like that. I thought, no big deal, jump in the car, go to this party, go back home. Wasn't that simple. Then that's whenever I got introduced into the probation system, into the justice system, and I just felt more and more withdrawn from what they were trying to tell me. Because once again, I felt like there was no ground for me to relate on. Once again, I felt like this joker can't come over here and tell me something about something he don't understand. Regardless of how vicarious he seems, regardless of how emotionally connected he seems, regardless of how much he thinks he understands, he will never know what it's like to be a Mexicayot or an Anahuac. Someone who doesn't know their identity. Someone who gets told all the time, you're Latino, you're Hispanic, and knowing deep down inside, that's not me. That's what someone else calls me. That's what someone else came in and said I was, and my jefita was, and my family was. That's what created even more like disenfranchisement when I look at my paperwork and it says I'm white. And I'm like, really? Because I don't feel white, and I know I don't look white. I got further and further disconnected as time went by. And before I learned my history, before I learned who I was as a person, all I could do was reach out for a culture that I thought was different and that I thought was mine. Reach out for a culture that I thought I could identify with. Reach out for a culture that I thought was solely influenced by my people. And then when I started looking back further into my past as I got older, I see it's a reoccurring theme. With the Pachuco movement, with the Chicano movement, with the Cholo movement. A lot of people don't consider them movements, but it's an idea that passes from one community to another, and I call that a movement. We want it to be different because we could never be what people wanted us to be. I could never be an American like people wanted me to be. I was always called wetback and this and that, go home. And I'm like, for real? Say, oh, I've been here. My people are Comanche. What are you talking about, go home? My people are Mexica. The Mara Mara, Perepuche. We've been here longer than 15,000. I know that. I didn't know that then. But I know that I felt like they were wrong for telling me that. And all it did was push me further away from assimilating and becoming part of this great American experiment. How can I develop any efficacy if I don't even know who I am? How can I partake in this system? How can I have an impact? How can I have leadership? How can I have good qualities if I don't even know what I'm promoting? If I just know what somebody else is telling me. I just got further pushed and pushed and pushed away. Oh, you got problems? All right, boom. Go in that cell with a bunch of other homeboys just like you. That'll fix you. All it did was further my criminal mentality, as it does 95% of everyone else I've seen in there. Very few of us go into that system and come out a better person. We go into that system, our families are broken, our girls take off with somebody else, our kids don't recognize us when we come home. These social programs of anger management or parental guidance or these little programs they try to throw at us. Corporations that have their hands in the justice system, they strip that away as fast as they can. They don't want to see me rehabilitated. They want to see me come back. They don't care if I come back to society as a better person. They don't. I know they don't. Because in there, it ain't about love or rebuilding. In there, it's about fear and anger. In there, it's about hate and regret. That all I can do is act out on when a homeboy comes by, crosses the line, says something fly, and I got an opportunity to just expose it and to try to release some of that pressure and that tension. Because if not, it's just going to eat me up alive. I don't have no other way of dealing with it. I've been given false misconceptions I've been given these misconceptions on what a man's supposed to be about, on what a man's supposed to think like. Especially as a Mexicano. Especially as a Mexican man. I can't talk about nothing. I can't share nothing. I can't expose how I feel. I can't expose any weaknesses. I can't do none of that. If I do that, I get victimized. That's what I was conditioned to believe. So when you put a bunch of people like that inside of a prison that don't go home, 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 20 years, homeboy got life, you're going to see that. You're going to see that expression. Not as a, hey, I'm hurt, this is why I feel this way. No, homeboy, I'm finna take you out any way I can to make myself feel better. Because I'm hurt. And I want to see that hurt projected on you. And I want to see you hurt more. So I feel a little bit better about mine. So I know I'm not as bad as I thought I was. Because homeboy on the back with his face broken. Evidently he is. But nah. He's not. It's me. It's me that continues to lose because I continue to redo all the things that I was taught. And my own detriment. And me being hurt, my sons being hurt, learning the same things. Just like I did. Except I didn't learn by example. I learned by lack of example. I learned that I have to learn by myself. My sons got to jump quicker than I ever did. They had me to love them. I didn't have my dad. I can't blame him. He didn't know how to be a dad. His dad wasn't there. His dad before that wasn't there. Ultimately, the root of the problem is an identity crisis that exists within my people. It's not a criminal problem. It's a social problem. A lot of people ask me all the time, how come your people just can't be another regular person in society? Why you gotta sell drugs? Why you gotta prove a point with a gun? And why you gotta run around in these packs like a wild dog? Well, shit, that's how y'all treat us. You want to look at us like that? You want to treat us like that and call us something we're not? It's just like anything else. Just like anything else. You develop a complex, you develop that condition, and you develop a reaction that simultaneous. It's simultaneous. It's not even thought about. Whenever I talk to other people about how I live and how I grew up, they're like, you didn't think about right and wrong? You didn't think about good and bad? You didn't think about consequences? I tell them, you know what? If I did, I wouldn't be here. But within that moment, there's no thinking. It's just feeling. It's just an emotion. Whenever I went to prison, after being on probation twice, trying to get it right, trying to apply myself like they said, trying trying to make the changes that they told me to make, it didn't work for me. And I wanted it to. I wanted to apply myself. I wanted to be different. I wanted to sit down and be a regular law-abiding citizen. I really wanted that in my heart. But then when I'm chilling outside with my homeboys, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that need to uphold law whenever I don't see any law truly being upheld. Really in front of me, I don't see it. Because if we really had justice, if we really had law, there wouldn't be money involved in these prison systems. It wouldn't be about the money. It wouldn't be about generating, and everyone's like, well, no, who gets paid? Nobody gets paid. We pay for that. Well, if you're paying that, someone's getting that money. Yeah, we paying that. It comes out of our tax money. Who's that going to, though? And I tell you right now, there's a difference between a private-owned facility and a state-owned facility. Major differences. Major differences. And I can promise you right now, you hit a state, you winning. You hit that private place, psh, good luck. You finna eat twice on the weekend. You ain't finna get proper cleaning stuff. You ain't finna, you might even miss out on a lot of your time just what? Because a mandatory discretionary good time, they call it? Think about that. Look how, just listen how oxymoronic that sounds. Mandatory discretionary good time. You're telling me I need to act good because I can go home and make a parole and get my FI1, but you're telling me at any given chance you get a wild hair, you just pull it from me. What incentive do I have to better myself? What incentive does my homeboy next to me have to better himself? For all he knows, he's going for the whole ride. That's how we all look at it in there. And we know when we come home, dang, shit, come on to him. There ain't nothing. We have to start all over again. When we go in there, we don't learn how to be better people. We don't learn how to love. We don't learn how to forgive. All we learn is how to be a criminal more. That's it. All the youngsters I see come in the system, and I was locked up, and I'm sitting down there and I'm looking at them, I could tell real fast who were the homeboys that were living the facade and who were the homeboys that were trapped in a situation that they couldn't escape or control. Because the ones that couldn't control it were coming in there, oh yes, it's Tango Blast, and oh, it's Mexicles, and oh, it's this, it's that. I'm down for mine, so homeboy, I put in work. All right. But the real G, I'm really down, homeboy. I done did my thing. What do I got to prove to you? I already proved it to myself. The homeboy that goes Sulano, that's the G. That's the one who's already done it in the streets. That's the one who's already seen that mentality, that little high that you get, that one good feeling that you get of feeling respect, the unseen currency that rules everything in there. Even as a little vato with myself, man, I can get as much respect as I want just to jump out there and show no fear. Fade my ass, take my time, not tell. I can hold just as much currency as a homeboy his size. That's that's the only positive reinforcement that I got. That's the only thing that can benefit me from not losing my mind. Very few of us will find peace in our studies. Mexicanos, I can only speak from my cultural perspective. The homeboys that I was allowed to kick it with, because I couldn't kick it with nobody else. I had homeboys from the free world that I seen come in that I grew up with running down the street. No shoes. I can't kick it with them. I can't sit down and, hey, homeboy, here's some food.